Hi, in this video I'm going to show you a new feature of our class database where you can create your own database. Now this can be useful for two reasons in two different scenarios. Sometimes you might accidentally or intentionally drop your own database. You have the full permission to do that in this particular database server. You can drop your own database, but you cannot drop any of your team members or classmates database. So let's say you drop your own database accidentally. Using these steps that I'm going to show you, you can create your own database without asking me to do it. The second scenario under which it might be useful is for this course there are a number of different assignments for which you are going to use MySQL database server for. You are using the database for you have a database for your in-class exercises using the bank database that we have been using. You can create your own database for the homework 3, and you can you might need another database for the project when you start working on the projects. So some of you have told me that it can get a bit confusing if you have all the tables for all these different purposes appearing in the same place under one database structure. So with the next steps that I'm going to show you, we can create different databases for different purposes as long as they have they follow certain naming conventions. Okay, so let's get started by creating just your own database first. Then I'm going to show you how you can create different database for different purposes. Let's say you delete your database. For this exercise, for this demo, I have created a dummy student account called nsahu. So now I'm going to delete this particular database for this user by right clicking on the database name and then clicking on drop. It'll warn you, but let's go ahead and delete it anyways. Now the database is gone. So how do we recreate that database? To describe the steps from the very beginning, I'm going to close this window and reconnect into this database server. Now you don't have a database, but your user account is still there. The user account for nsahu is still there. So you can still connect to the database server, but you won't be able to access any database. Now I filled in nsahu for this particular user, but you will fill in your user ID as well as your password, the password that you changed the default passwords to. And after that, in the database field, you should leave that field empty. Because you don't have any database yet that you can connect to. So leave it empty and then click on open. It will alert you saying if you want to save the changes. I'm going to say no for now. So now you logged in, and as you can see on the left hand side, you don't have your own database because we just dropped it. So how do we recreate that? Right click on that session, go to create new, and then click on database. So we are asking it to create a new database. Now this is the important part. The name of this database has to be same as the name of the database you had before. So in this particular case, I'm going to type nsahu because that was the name before, but with your particular case you should provide your BU user ID here. The same user ID that you used to log into the database server. After that, click OK, and it created the database for you. Just to make sure that this is indeed your database and you have all the permissions for this database, we'll go ahead and create a table inside it. So to do that, right click on the database, go to create new, and then click on table, provide a table name. I'm just going to call it test, and add a couple of columns. Then I'm going to click on save just to make sure that I'm actually able to create the database. As you can see, it did create the table called test. So you have full permission into this database that you just created. Now, how do you create a new database for your homeworks? Let's right click on the session. Again, follow the similar step, follow the same steps. Right click on the session, create new database, but this time when you provide a name, it has to start with user ID, your user ID. In this particular case it's nsahu, followed by underscore, followed by any string that you might want to give to distinguish database from other databases that you have. So I'm going to call it nsahu underscore hw3 for homework 3. Then click enter, or you can click OK there. Alright, now it created the second database, and you can use it for storing your tables for homework 3. Now again, just to make sure that you have full permission here, we can try creating a new table. And it does allow you to create the new table. So there you have it. This is how you can recreate your database if you accidentally or intentionally deleted it. And you can also create a set of new databases for different purposes for your personal use, as long as you follow this naming convention. Now one thing I have to warn you is, if you delete a particular database, you can recreate it, but anything that was present inside the database before you deleted it, they would be lost. They won't get recreated again. So with that warning, I hope this feature will be useful to you in the next few weeks as you start working on your homework 3, homework 4 and the project. Let me know if you have any questions.